I'm here to talk about something we're all do that we might not even be aware of. Now, this is stereotyping, not based off race or age, but off of how much money you have or what wealth you have. Now, this is just a result of evolution. Just like you would know the hungry animal coming at you is dangerous, you'd know the person in the Lamborghini is rich. And really, it's not a bad function, but in today's society, it has no place. I feel like, well, personally, I wouldn't want to be judged based off what phone I own or what I drive. I'd rather be judged based off what who I am. Can I just restart?
Sure, but you're doing well.
Yeah.
Okay, deep breath.
Just like stumbling through it.
That's okay. Think about what you're saying. You also have like a really good stage presence, so you're doing well.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? 3.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Let's start again.
Now I'm here to talk about something we all do subconsciously. This is stereotyping, not based off of race or age, but based off of how much wealth you have. Now, we might not be physically conscious of this, but we all do it. Just like you know the hungry animal coming at you is dangerous, you know the person in the Lamborghini is rich. And now I don't think this has any place in today's society. I wouldn't want to be judged based off what phone I have or what I drive or even how I dress. And I'm pretty sure you guys would not either. But in a place like Westport, it's almost become a societal norm. If you don't have the latest technology, you really don't fit in. I think this is a problem, and that's what I want to try and stop. Now, next time you look at someone, realize that you make your first impression in the first 7 seconds you see them. You understand if they're trustworthy, how relaxed they are, several factors, including their wealth. And maybe if you look past the outer skin, you can look down to the core and see who they really are, not just what you see at first. Now, I've had a personal story with this, I guess. The first time I really saw it come into play in the real world. I played football, for those of you who don't know. And it was after a game. We were getting back on the bus, and there was a group of kids near us that were just talking. I looked over and I heard them discussing the bus we drove on. It was a coach bus, like nothing special, nothing too fancy. But they asked where we're from. Someone answered Westport, and they laughed. They said, that explains the bus. I was kind of, questioning it. I mean, I knew we had money, but they seemed to be talking about it like this made us lesser people than they considered themselves to be. It was like there's trash talk, and then there's things they actually mean. Like they could say a snide remark in the game or insult you, but this felt more real. So I was wondering why that was. Why did they think even just a nicer bus made us less than they were? And I really could not think of a good reason. So when it comes down to it, I just think that your wealth should not be the determining factor of who you are. And the next time you meet someone, try and look past it, try and see who they really are.
Good. All right. Hang out there for a sec. How do you think it went?
Not too great. I was stumbling through it a little bit.
You did stumble a little bit. It didn't slow you down, and you recovered really well, other than that first part, right?
Yeah.
So I think keep that in mind. You can recover pretty well. So that's a good thing. You've got that on your side. What do you think in terms of content and pacing and that sort of thing?
I think when I get nervous, I sort of skip through pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I read my whole speech, it would take up the whole time. I'm sure this was much shorter than it has.
Which
to
is
be.
okay. Nobody knows that but you,
Yeah.
right? I think the biggest thing that you can really work on is the effect that it had hearing something like that. And the fact, I wonder if I think it's the idea, not that they thought that they were better than you, because they're obviously saying, oh, it figures you're from Westport. So they kind of saying oh, you guys are up here, mm-hmm. right? I think there's something a little bit more going on, and they're stereotyping you for what purpose? So why do you think they were stereotyping you?
To make themselves feel better.
Right. And so you could then say that it doesn't matter who you are, how wealthy you are, people do this, but when you do this, what's the problem? And then I think you should also kind of go into how that appearance doesn't necessarily represent who you are. And maybe when you talk about looking beyond the outer skin and going into the core, because that's a really great line, you can even talk about what that means for you. That on the outside you might see this, but really this is who I am. And so if we start thinking of people as people and not just these sort of judgments,
yeah.
what that can do. So I think that's a way that you could expand on it and make it a little more personal.
So I'll try and get more fluid.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that you also did a really nice job. You're the only one so far who's used your space a little bit, which is great. So keep that going.
All right.
Really good pacing. Good job, Jackson.